Okay. Alright, well, hello! Welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are new here. My name is Weylie, and I turn 23 tomorrow. I know, it is my Jordan year. Every time I tell someone my age, they are like, you are 20, what? So I'm just at home alone today, and I was like reflecting on life and stuff. So I thought I'd just make this video and share with you guys what I've learned. So here we go. When my mom said that after you turn 21, the years will just fly by, she was not kidding. It felt like it was yesterday when I was not allowed to buy alcohol, when I was not allowed to go to the clubs, and I was that friend that limited all my friends who were older than me to celebrate things at the club because I was that underage kid. And it's so weird to think that that was 2 years ago because it literally felt like yesterday. So Mom, when you said time flies by, you weren't kidding. If you guys have followed me for a while here on this channel, you would know that I used to share a lot about guys breaking my heart, this and that. Time will heal any type of heartbreak, and it's not the end of the world. It is the worst feeling ever, but you will get over it and something greater is to come. If you don't know how to cook, it doesn't mean you will never know how to cook. You have to try. Cooking is something that's fun. It is a life skill to have, so don't ever limit yourself and tell yourself, oh, I can't cook, and never try to go in the kitchen and try to cook. You need to have trial and error, and eventually you will master what tastes good to you. You will meet a lot of groups of best friends before you realize who your real friends are. If you don't click with someone, you just don't click with someone, and you can't really get mad at that. It is okay that those friendships didn't work out because now I have a really, really solid group of friends and I am just so grateful for them. Not having sex does not define anything about who you are. When I was in high school, I remember feeling so pressured and that it was not normal because everyone around me were like having sex. In high school, I felt like having sex was a social thing. Like that is something for people to feel like, oh, I fit in. But sex is something that's very private, or maybe I'm just super conservative, I don't know. But personally for me, I just feel like your sex life should not be out in the public. The whole school does not need to know that you fucked who and who fucked who. Sex is something that is so personal and it should be special, especially on your first time. Getting denied from colleges does not mean that you're stupid or that you will not have a good future. Right out of high school, I applied to, I think 2 or 3 universities, and I got denied from all 3. And those were universities that all my friends got accepted into. It was the university that my sister got accepted into, and I just remember feeling so shitty about myself. But then I ended up going to FITM, and it worked out perfectly, and I had a really good time there. I learned a lot, and it just worked out for who I am. So, I mean, it's okay if you don't get accepted on the first try. There's gonna be other options, you just have to keep trying. Saving money is more important than making money. This is something that my uncle taught me. If you make a ton of money, but you're spending a ton of money, you're never gonna have money in the end. So saving money is really important. Driving like a crazy bitch does not make you look cool. I still see it happen all the time, all different ages, people on the road thinking they're the shit because of the car they drive, because of the way they dress or the music they're listening to. It just takes like one split second for your life to just be over. Don't be afraid to speak up to your parents. Growing up, I had really, really strict parents, more so my mom than my dad. My dad was pretty lenient. Like, he wanted me to be a good kid, but he didn't really give me a lot of discipline, but my mom was like hardcore on my ass. And I always felt like I had to please them. Growing up, I told them I wanted to be a psychologist, or I wanted to be some sort of like fashion designer or artist. Like, I had a lot of dreams growing up, but my parents always shut those down. When I decided to go to FITM to pursue my beauty merchandise and marketing degree, my dad was like, what the fuck are you doing there? Like, my dad was not supportive at all, but my mom was, surprisingly. And I ended up going anyway. Everything worked out the way it should. Also, another thing that I've realized is that your parents being strict on you doesn't necessarily mean that they're just not being understanding. They have their dreams and they want you to fulfill those for them. But you have to know that it is not your job to fulfill your parents' dreams. You are here in life to fulfill who you are and to fulfill your own dreams. So just remember that. Now that I'm in a new place, I want to say that moving around is very stressful, but I'm also very grateful for all the opportunities I've had for me to move around. I guess I'm just the type of person who does not really like to settle in one place. Like, I just want a change of scenery. And although it's not the traditional way, and I feel like a lot of people would avoid moving at all costs, it is something that I have learned. I feel a lot more open-minded about the world, people around me, and different communities, and I just really love it, but that's just personally for me. This one took me years to realize, and that is to embrace who I am, my ethnicity, my nationality. Growing up as a Chinese kid in America, was really difficult, especially in the community I grew up with. People thought I was so weird because I'm Asian, and they're like, why are your eyes like that? People used to make fun of me, and I remember thinking like, oh my god, being Chinese is the worst thing ever. At one point, I would pretend that I didn't know Chinese so that I can seem more Americanized and be more like everyone else. But now that I'm older and that I've seen more people around me, different cultures, different ethnicities, it's such a beautiful thing that we are all human, but we all have different cultures. And if you ask me now, I love being Chinese. I love everything about our culture. I love our food. I love the values that I grew up with, and you need to be proud of who you are. Speaking of embracing, I've learned to embrace my body. Growing up, my biggest insecurity was my height. I'm not very tall now. I'm 5'4" or 5'5", somewhere there. And I know it's not very tall, but amongst Asians, I am pretty tall. I'm taller than all my girlfriends, and people used to make me feel like a Hulk. There's this guy that made fun of my legs because they were super long when I was in 5th grade. But nowadays, I'm just like, you know what? I am who I am. All this entire package is Weylie motherfucking Hong, okay? And I am perfect the way I am, and so are you. As long as you feel beautiful on the inside and you embrace that, that's all that matters. Which brings me to my next point. Be nice to everyone you meet. You don't know what someone else is going through. So be nice to anyone you meet because you don't know their struggle. Live as if you're a kid. Like, how many of you remember as a kid, you would be like, I wanna be this, I wanna be this, I wanna do this, and you would not be afraid to like take chances. But now as adults, we are so afraid of like hurting ourselves, failing, falling, that a lot of times we just limit ourselves. As we get older, I feel like our innocence just gets robbed from us. We stop imagining, we stop creating, and sometimes you just have to take a step back and pretend you're a kid again and be fearless. This one is kind of personal, but when I was thinking about this video, this is like the first thing that came to my mind, and that is to forgive. I held a grudge against my mom like probably up till I was like 16 or something. If you don't know about the story, I talked about it a little bit in my Draw My Life. It is what it is, and it's okay. Like, I've moved on from it because I've realized that the way my mom treated me was probably because she was going through a really hard time too. She had me when she was 23 years old, I think. Parenting was hard for her. We didn't have money. Not that that excused her for the way she raised me. Her way of parenting may be wrong, but that's my mom, and I knew that she was just trying to teach me to be a good person. It was just that her way of teaching was wrong. When you hate someone and you hold this grudge, it is so tiring. Let whatever happened be a learning experience for you. You can't be afraid to speak up to people. I was really shy growing up. I feel like it's probably the environment I grew up in. I felt like I just could never have a say, and that everyone was bigger than me and everyone was greater than me. I have just always grew up in that way where I was afraid to speak up to people. I was even afraid to order my meal when I was at a restaurant. When you're afraid to speak up, it's because you're afraid of what people might say to you. But if you don't speak up, you end up going home crying, feeling sad, feeling embarrassed, and it's just not worth it to feel that way. And it's okay to speak up, not just in negative situations, even in positive situations. Like, if you have something to contribute, you don't have to keep everything on the inside. You have a voice for you to share. Treat your pets good. I feel like a lot of people get very comfortable with their house pet and they just kind of forget to really give them a lot of attention, which is something I've done actually when I was in high school. I was so caught up in like relationships, school, and like all that other drama and shit, and every day I would come home from school, I'm just like, oh hi, to my dog, and I would just move on. But all my dog wanted, this always makes me emotional whenever I talk about pets. I always see people like just neglect their dogs, like leave their dogs in the backyard in the heat, never take them out for walks. So many pets do not see anything beyond the house. So if you have a pet, play with them, like give them attention. You have your parents, you have your family, you have friends, you have mentors, but to your dog, you are all they have. Sometimes I can just see it, like I can just see it in her eyes that she sees everything of me. They won't judge you when you don't have money, when you're not pretty, when you're not skinny. Like, dogs just love you for you. Whew, I did my makeup and it was all on fleek today. I'm sorry if I made you cry with me, but I just thought I would show you guys who my doggy is. This is my Westie. She is turning 11 in May. She's my big girl. I just woke her up from a nap, so she's probably like, really, woman? What you need? I love her, and I will love her forever and ever, and she will also love me forever and ever. Kiss, kiss. Okay, no more crying. This is supposed to be a happy video. So here we go, back to happiness, hopefully. Love yourself first before you try to love someone else. Prior to Wah, I had one boyfriend and this other guy that I was like talking to for a really long time, but it kind of didn't really go anywhere. I felt like they didn't work out the way I wanted them to because I didn't love myself. I relied on them for me to feel beautiful. Like I wanted them to compliment me. I want them to feel like I'm the most beautiful girl in the world. The reality is you need to feel that yourself first, because even if your guy was spoiling you with all these compliments, if you didn't believe that, you're just gonna be like, stop babe, no I'm not, like no I'm not beautiful, you're lying to me. You need to love yourself first before you can go and love someone else. Buying used and cheap furniture is the way to go. Chances are, as you get older, like every single year you're changing, your style is evolving. So that's why I feel like you shouldn't spend so much money on furniture. So yeah, I guess just save your money and go to IKEA. Travel. Not that I've traveled a lot, but I hope to, I want to, because you see how other people live. Usually for me, when I come back from visiting somewhere, I always feel like the world is so big and my problems are so small. And since it's the number 21, the legal drinking age here in America, I thought I would tell you guys to drink and party and try it out. I used to be this person that was like anti going to the club or like going to raves because I was so shy. Like I just don't know how to dance, and I still don't till this day, but that's okay. But who cares? It's about making memories. It's about going out and having fun, trying new things. Because what, like, are you gonna be 40, 50 after you had like babies popped out and shit and try to go out to the club? You gotta like have fun and like try new things and like don't limit yourself. You only live once and you're only in your 20s once. So have fun. Which leads me to the next thing, and that is time really flies. So cherish every moment. Be happy no matter what you're going through, no matter how shitty it is. You are blessed with another day on this earth, and you should not waste it on being angry with the world. Well, lastly, I want to wrap it up with keep an open mind and that there's a lot to learn. Like I said, I'm only 23 years old. There are many more things ahead of me that I need to learn. I hope that I can continue to inspire you guys and that I will continue to learn and be inspired by other people. So that's why I think that keeping an open mind is really important, because you're never going to be the smartest. You're never going to be the best at something. There's always going to be someone that's better than you, someone who has better insight, and you have to keep an open mind in order for you to take in that new information. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so much for all the years of friendship, support, and sisterhood. You guys are the best. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. That is all. I will see you later. Peace.